believe in what the church and the priests tell us. We are sinful. Without Jesus, we will go to hell. If Jesus comes back again, he will cry his soul out because his teaching has been distorted and tortured into such a sense, into such a shape. And he did cry. He does cry. He is crying. Some of my disciples meditate and contact Jesus inside. He is now not on the earth plane. He works in a higher dimension, that's all. Jesus never died. His body only disappeared on earth, but his soul body is everlasting, is always existing. He's only working in another dimension with higher intelligent people, easier to teach than ours. I'm sorry, again, too straightforward is no good. But that's what he told me. Anyhow, I'm sorry. You don't need to believe that. Yeah, it's difficult to tell the truth sometimes. Yeah, you must forgive my straightforward way. Anyhow, some of my disciples meditate, and because they were born Catholic, Catholic believers, so naturally they will contact Jesus or Maria. And lately, 2 weeks ago, when I was in Taiwan still, she came to me and told me Jesus was crying. And I said, why is that? She said, because he thinks his children believing in his name are going down to the lower scale of existence. Only believing in his name, but not knowing the way to reach him. Therefore, they get no liberation. And then he cries because of his children's ignorance and because of the harm the false belief has done to them. And of course, when I heard this, I also wanted to cry. And my tears did not flow out, it only flowed inside. And that's even more painful. Because I don't know what else can I do to fulfill his left behind mission for him, that he would stop crying. You see, once you have left this physical world, even if you were a very high master, you cannot help the physical beings anymore, except through inner communication, which is very difficult to reach by most human beings, except by some exceptional persons who have a kind of telepathy, inborn nature, or by their own previous life practicing. They are left with some psychic power or the inner communication ability. You understand what I mean? Or we might call this the sixth sense or the seventh sense, the higher dimension understanding. Then you may even see Jesus without practicing any prior meditation. Some of them are very receptive. And when they are in the most sincere moment and pray to him, then they might contact him now and again. Or they might contact the Buddha or the saints of the past. This happens. It doesn't mean very often though. But if we practice our method, it's very sure we can see these saints and we can learn from them a great deal of things. That's how we learn more about the truth, not by word of mouth, not by any preaching or doctrines, but by self-intuition, self-learning. When we go into higher dimensions, we will see different saintly beings of a higher order of intelligence. They might have gone to the higher worlds to teach others, or they might be prepared to teach us in the near future. And they have greater intelligence and more scientific wisdom than us. They live in higher worlds and a higher so-called civilization. what their civilization is, we cannot imagine with our own limited human brain. We can only perceive when we go within by meditation, by deep contemplating. And this way we can offer you through the Kuan Yin method. This is called the method of immediate enlightenment. Now you may have heard a lot about enlightenment methods, and I do agree that there are quite a few ways to enlightenment. But the highest one is the only road, and you go different way, then you must go through there, and then you go up. And this way is through the inner light and the inner vibration. The vibration, yesterday I told you, is what the Bible says is the Word. That in the beginning was a Word, and the Word was with God, but the Word was God. With God, but was God. So this is what in the Tao Te Ching they say, Tao bu ke Tao, Ming bu ke Ming. The name you cannot name. This is the word in the Bible. And the sharp in the Hindu scriptures. And the Kuan Yin, or what you call the sound hearing method of the Buddhist canons. In the Buddhist scriptures, the Buddha said that the best and the only way to reach Buddhahood is through contemplating the inner sound, the sound stream. But in the Bible, it doesn't say how you contemplate. It only states that you must go within and listen to the inner sound. 梵文文自心. You go within and contemplate your own nature. So now we are confused as to what is meant by our own nature. Our own nature, if we refer to the Bible, is very easy to understand. When we refer both back and forth, we can understand each other very quickly. What is our own nature? That means we are born from it. Is it not so? The self-nature means we are born from that. That means our own nature. Like the nature of this table is wood. We can say so. It's understandable for everyone. We can say it's made of wood, but its nature is wood. It's like that. Now, our self-nature is what? If the Buddha tells us to go within and listen to the self-nature or the sound stream, that means our self-nature is a kind of sounding, it's kind of vibration. And now in the Bible it also says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Then this sound, this word is our self-nature. Because everything was made by this word, and there's nothing made that is not made by this. So we know from the Bible that everything was made by the vibration, by this word or sound or inner vibration. And Buddha say the same. Listen to your own self-nature by turning your hearing inward. Now, to turn your hearing inward and hear your self-nature, there must be some sounds to hear. Otherwise, he would tell you, turn your toe inward and feel your own nature, no? Or turn your hand inside and scratch your own nature. No, he said, turn your hearing. Turn your hearing inward and hear your self-nature. And the Bible also does not say you are made of anything. It says everything was made by this word. Word is something sounding, something vibrating. Because of the language barrier, sometimes we use it so differently. The old ancient word means vibration. That's it. Just like in the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu said, the name which cannot be named, but you can hear it without ears. You can see it without eyes. Is this the same thing all over again? All the Bible scriptures mention the same, this vibration, the origin of all things. So we know that the inborn nature, our self-nature or Buddha nature, is the word, is the sound, is the vibration. So the only remaining question is how to contact this inborn nature or God, because the word was God. Everything was made by it, and there's nothing made that's not made by it. So now, because also in the Bible it is saying, God made man in his own image. So we have some clue now. Is it not so? Everything was made by the Word, and the Word was God. And then God made man in his own image. So there's no doubt 2 and 2 is 4. God is that Word. And the Word is our origin. And we and the Word are the same. We and God are the same. We and God are the same because God made man in his own image. And then in the other side, the Word, everything came from this Word. The Word was God. So, can you understand now? You see now? Is it clear enough or not? Sleeping? Then we sleep together. If I speak not so lousy, then respond. Because we are studying together, not that I am preaching to you. Understand that? We are all the same nature. Everything was made by God, or this word, or this self-nature. So do not make me a God and sit there like the statues and waiting for me to preach to you some high-reaching sermon or things like that. It's very scary. We should become equal in order to understand each other and cooperate in order to communicate. Yeah, I do not like to sit like a guru and such a big deal, make a fuss out of everything. I sincerely want to discuss with you our questions, our problems, which I had before and which I know you now carry in your heart. And if I have discovered something new, I will tell you, and if it's incorrect, you may tell me. If you know something better later, you can also tell me. This is a better atmosphere like that.